Okay, let's call a meeting to order and with roll call.
Sorry, got to find my list. All right, George Senek.
Here.
Ted Gwynn,
Here.
Tom Grace, Perry Owen,
Here.
Harry Green,
Here.
Bob Davis,
Here.
Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan. I see your name, so I'm just going to check you off anyway. Paul Thompson,
Here,
Steve Palmatier,
Here.
Paul Rahman,
Here.
Sally Sherlin. Don't see you. Tom Grace. I also don't see you. All right, staff's here. Go ahead, Paul.
okay. Approval of the planning board meetings of October 14th, 2020. Do we have an approval for those?
So moved.
We had Ted and Paul here.
Okay, all approve?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, approval of the 239 minutes for October 14th.
Got a question on that minutes, for Oxford. How much we abstained?
Okay, can you guys hear on the screen? Paul Rahman has a change. Abstain on the town of Oxford.
I'll move to approve as corrected.
I'll second it.
George and Paul did a motion and second on here, Paul.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, new business, hazardous mitigation.
So our office is still working on the hazard mitigation plan. For town supervisors highway, there is a workshop on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And that is going over how to come up with mitigation actions. So if you are a town supervisor or you've been designated to participate on behalf of your town, please be there on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Beyond that, we should have a draft of some of the first initial parts of the plan here soon. And then we can start reviewing that. But otherwise, we're still moving ahead. So that's it on that, Paul.
Okay, transportation.
So we do not have a contract yet for 2021, but we are pending that. We should be able to start transportation in February. But until we have a contract, there's nothing to do with that yet.
If I can interject, I have a meeting at 11 o'clock with the Get There rideshare people, not Get There, but the 511 rideshare, about moving that kiosk into UHS and then through Chenango County. I'm going to try to convince them to allow me to control where it goes for the next year, so it stays in our region.
Any other comments?
That's it.
Environmental Management Council.
So before she begins, I know half of you can't see her, but Colleen Bradley is our new planner. She is here in person. So she's going to be talking about the next few items, as that's going to be some of the stuff that she's working on. So hopefully you can hear. I'm going to try and turn up the speakers. Yep. Keep it loud enough.
Hi all. Yeah, so the next three action items, the Chenango County Environmental Management Council, the Climate Smart Community Certification Program, and Community Solar are three new items that we are working on so we can aid in the future of like natural resources in our county and improve the quality of life through such natural resources. And then all three of these will also help with securing future grant funding opportunities at our county and community level.
Can you guys hear her okay online?
Yes.
Could be a little better, to be honest.
Listen, Mike, we're trying.
You, okay, if you don't want to be honest, I heard her great.
That's better.
Shane, it's an attitude like that that makes you be surrounded by fiber and not have it to your house.
I know. Just speak louder. No, go to the next one.
Oh.
Climate smart.
Oh, okay. So what I said was kind of like an overview, like all three of them, and then so also for the Climate Smart Community Certification Program. It is a state program that communities, they pledge to do this certification program, and through various action items, they get points, and through those points, you strive to get like a certain amount to become a certain like level certified in the state, and then through that you get better scores for funding, and obviously you get good environmental feedback like improved air quality, and you can invest in sustainable local economies and other things like energy independence. So yeah, that program will help with all of that. And then for community solar, I have had one meeting with Solstice, with their development coordinator and director of outreach in December. And we kind of just established what possible short-term goals for Chenango County would be. And me and Shane, we built like a community survey that we in the future want to send out to get feedback from the community. The community solar is something that they would want to participate in the future because there are some like immediate feedback. So when one signs up, they get automatically $100 to themselves, and then also $100 donated to a community-wide project or action. And it doesn't necessarily have to be an environmental project or action. It can be, as long as it is in the county, it is like a community-based action. So yeah, so that is, we'll have probably another meeting with them when they know more about 2021 projects for NYSERDA and National Grid. But this time there are none that our county could actively participate in right now.
Okay, this is the supervisor saying, I just have a question. One of the things that we found is we had a potential solar project, and I know there was another one elsewhere in the county in Bainbridge a few years ago, is the interconnect with NYSEG is probably going to squash the project. You know, everything else came together. We had 3-phase, we were within the location. And for a relatively small project of, I'm going to say, between 10 and 18 acres, the interconnect was $420,000. I don't know whether we have any more information on that or the standard things or you know, and that could potentially impact solar projects throughout the county. I don't know whether the state has any role in that. I know we certainly don't oversee the utilities.
It's basically when like we've worked on a project where we try and put solar on our landfills in Chenango County.
Yeah.
And part of the problem was that where our landfills are located, there wasn't enough capacity.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the big hurdle, is trying to find that capacity in our electric grid to site those.
Well, you know, the follow-up on that is, I know we have the wind project going in, but that's by the upgraded transmission lines, which were to increase capacity, was to hook into those. And I think the issue really was at the transformer station, which was relatively new. I don't know whether there's any coordination, which I kind of doubt statewide, as they're taking a look at those things and the utilities are upgrading.
My observation driving around a lot is that NYSEG is doing a lot of upgrades to their transformer stations. They're doing a major project over in Willett right now. And a mile down the road on 221, they're building a big community solar farm. They did the same thing and back over behind Greek Peak last summer, rebuilt a really old substation, upgraded the power lines to it, and again, put in a large solar field. So I think that the pressure is on from NYSERDA and the Public Service Commission to upgrade that. And I get the same feedback from the Tier Energy Network. That's what part of the reason all of this construction is going on.
Stephen, you're correct. The transformer was upgraded, it would require additional transformers or something in order to be able to meet the capacity. It was just all completely redone.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a matter of increasing the voltage and the voltage that is being transmitted through these AC lines that actually move the power. I could do some research on that. I know people who can tell me what they're doing and why.
All right, Paul, that's all we have here.
Oh, okay. Okay, consultant report. It's up to you, Steve.
I guess I'll just say it's an interesting year in education. I've actually been doing some videos for schools. Unadilla Valley, well, we're working on the SME Prime program, but we're having a difficult time getting funding for that from local businesses. Later this month, I have a meeting with the Corning Foundation. They may finance part of that project. If they don't, UV asked me to put together an entire 2-year CTE curriculum around the field of mechatronics. I finished a 2-year course outline yesterday, again, using the SME modules. Oxford is going to start their building project and wants to start looking at, or started their building project. Later this month, we're going to meet with the architects and start looking at how to build a maker space within the school that would be for the community also. So that's kind of an interesting concept that ties back into entrepreneurship, actually, because you'd actually have space to develop product. And beyond that, I mean, I pay attention to the Tier Energy Network, a lot of their stuff. Philosophically, I'm probably polar opposites of those people, but there are some interesting technologies that are coming out that are worth taking to our local businesses. Colleen and I have actually looked at a little bit of that. So that's, that's something that I've done. I think I've run 4 sessions for our major energy users in the county on some of these emerging technologies. Interestingly, going back to UV, I'm working directly with 2 engineers, one a Morrisville professor with a doctorate in electrical engineering from SU, and another one who has a degree from Morrisville in mechanical engineering. And we're actually designing a set of solar panels for the home that will tilt. And so there's a spur gear and a worm gear and a spur gear. And we're going to work with the UV school system because they have a CNC milling machines and they can cut the gears. So the kids are going to actually make the product that goes into this, tilting solar panel. And we'd like to enter that in the 76 West competition, give our kids some credit for that. Like I say, transportation. I was on a conference call with Shane with Get There, and they were having trouble. New York State, Paul, I can't think of Paul's last name, but they were having trouble citing these kiosks that promote the 511 rideshare program. And I was able to connect him with Amy Stewart at Maine UHS in Binghamton. We're talking this morning at 11 o'clock about getting those kiosks here, moving them around the UHS system up into Chenango County. Shane and I have talked a bit, CMH Hospital, the Eaton Center, the entryway of the county office building going into social services, probably Shabani, all of those in Raymond would be great places to put these. And I'm going to put them into a spreadsheet if they'll let me. And I know a couple of men in Chenango County that actually use them for cleaning out the building at the airport. And they're interested in actually taking that schedule, moving and installing this equipment, you know, on a rotational schedule in the region. So, you know, and there's a myriad of other things, as you guys know. I mean, this seems like things cross my plate every day. That's all I have, unless somebody has a question.
Any questions? Okay, I guess we are on to privilege of the floor. We'll start with Carrie.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So just a couple of things to update you on. We did submit a grant last week through the National Science Foundation. We collaborated with Interconnect Wireless. Shane was part of that group, my grant writer for my staff. It was for a $300,000 grant to do rural broadband. So we have two communities in Chenango County, Preston and Smithville, that we're starting with. The great thing about this grant, not only do we have wonderful support, and I think Joanna did a fabulous job putting it together, but if we would get this grant, it makes us available to apply again for even more money. Once we do this, we implement the infrastructure, we see the community using it, we prove we have data that backs up. We're working with SUNY Morrisville on that as well. They're part of our team. So once we prove that it works and people are accessing it and we've increased the amount in that community, we can actually apply for more money to do more communities. So I know you all know Shane and I are both on the regional broadband team, and we're still working on it as a region. And if federal money comes out, which, you know, they're saying they will, but we can't wait for that. So while we're working as a region, we're also working independently to try to get broadband throughout the entire county. And if we have to do it community by community, that's how we're doing it. So I'm very excited about that. We worked really hard to get that put in. I'm working on another grant this week through Main Street, and it's for an anchor project, potentially for a hotel. If I can get some of the funding for that. If that comes to fruition, I'll update you more on that later. As far as the IDA goes, we do have a couple of solar projects that we've been notified about throughout the county. One, we still have not received the formal application from the Coventry project, but I just received the seeker information for another project in Green.
Did you get the seeker for the one in Coventry, Carrie?
I did not. Did they make the determination? Because
We got a copy of the seeker asking if we were okay with them being lead agency.
oh, good. Okay. Well, last I knew, right before the holiday, I knew they went back to the planning committee a few times. Coventry didn't know if they wanted to be seeker, and I basically said that the IDA wasn't going to do it unless Coventry sort of designated us as the agency. So good. I'm glad they did. That makes it.
We'll look again because we're not sure if it was Coventry or Green. I thought it was Coventry.
The one I just got was
Green.
Green. Last
Maybe-
time Coventry was still they didn't know if they wanted to be lead agency.
Okay.
But, you know, we don't want to, the IDA doesn't want, we want to make sure that whatever we do, that the planning board is okay with. So if they approve the project, but just don't want to be lead agency, we'll consider that, but we need some sort of resolution, but I haven't heard that one.
Colleen said Green, so we're gonna go with Green.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Green. It came in just, I think, last week.
Not sure. It was near there, I think.
That's all, unless you have any questions.
Can I ask a follow-up on the broadband?
Sure.
Once communities are done, we have kind of a priority list of other communities that will come next. How do we know where to go?
So we said, how do we know that? So what's the lineup of communities? So you went to Smithville and Preston first. We said Guilford was last, right?
No.
That's what I heard.
I think right now we're looking at need and communities that really have limited or no access, but we're really depending on Interconnect Wireless and their research that they have. They're the ones who we said, okay, if we could give you $300,000, which communities could we do first? And so this was the best use of that funds. I think depending on what the next level grant is, that'll help determine that. But that's actually a great thought. The first time our team gets together, we should take a look at the entire county and how we're going to segregate this out. It's one, by need, but two, also by cost. You know, if the next time we apply, we can get 500,000, you know, that might be a little bit different.
And Bob, I think part of that too was because on our regional board, we had actually drawn a map up of the entire southern tier of where the need was, and Smithville Preston area was one of those needs. And so far we've got, I think, Sherburne, that whole state land district over on the western side of Chenango County. And then I think that kind of like there was a couple other ones too. I think Guilford may have been that third one, But we'll have to look at that regional map and see, but that could be a good steering point.
How did you get that information? What's the source?
So what we did through the regional board is we did a survey of all the school districts, all the municipalities, and we also used Congressman Brindisi's broadband survey to kind of organize where those needs were. And then those were the major points of need. I think it was kind of that, like in that study, South Plymouth was the lowest in the entire region. So I think that's kind of how we got from Norwich up that Sherburne area. So again, we're just using those studies and that information that we have to base it off of.
My observation is almost all of Preston now has fiber. And I know how to tell. I mean, I've been driving these roads, checking that. They've done a major build out in the last 6 weeks in McDonough. It amazed me, Shane, that they ran down Creek Road from both ends to the termination of the existing power poles with fiber. So the Frontier is doing a lot of build out. They just built the road from County Route 10 all the way back past Chenango Lake and into McDonough. They were building that last week.
And again, I think this moves so quickly, it's hard to track.
I would agree, but I'm just sharing with you guys that I do pay attention to this as I drive around, and would gladly mark up a map even if that would be helpful. I'm a mile down a dirt road with a 980-foot long driveway, and they ran fiber to me last winter, actually. One of the things I do observe, though, is that a lot of the people on my roadway don't care. There's 2 trailers, they don't have fiber hooked up to them. They don't care. Josh Van Valkenburg's on my road. He's an engineer. He cares. He has fiber to his house. Mike and Bonnie Bartle do.
Right. And again, like you said, we're relying on Interconnect Wireless to really tell us where the need is.
Right. I'm telling you, I can help if you need me to. I track this for you.
Yep.
Just because I'm interested.
Okay.
Will Frontier give us that data?
What?
Will Frontier give us that data where they've got their fiber run?
Not unless you sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then you can't give it out anyway.
Then you're stuck.
That's not covered by PSC, so we don't have any
It's the same.
regulatory power to come down on them.
No, remember the broadband study from 2000, whatever it was?
Yes, I do.
Same problem.
Cost me a bottle of bourbon just reading through it.
Same problem that we had back then. We had to sign a confidentiality agreement in order to see the full study.
Okay, Perry?
No, nothing.
Let's see, Tom. Ted? Did Ted have anything?
No, he didn't. Sorry.
Oh, okay. George?
The only thing I just want to say thank you. I've really enjoyed sitting on the county planning board. As I've moved to the chair position, I need to find a replacement, find another supervisor. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. What I found is that generally it's the chairman of the planning committee and or his designee. And at this time, I think Tom Grace is probably that designee. So I don't know what other supervisor will be joining you. I'll probably be sitting in. I always find what goes on here pretty interesting. But thank you, and it has been a pleasure being here.
And that's actually a good segue because the appointments, so some of you, your appointments ran out actually December 31st. So just checking. Paul Ramon, did you still want to continue? Yes, okay. Steve Palmetier, did you still want to continue?
After going through 6 hours of training, of course.
And Ted?
Yeah.
Okay. The only other one is Sally Sherlin, so I'll have to call her and double check. But, so at the February board meeting, we'll have to have the appointments of those.
Okay, Bob Davis?
No, nothing.
Mike Flanagan?
Nothing.
Steve, do you have more?
I'm fine.
Okay. Paul Ramon?
Good, thank you.
Nothing.
Okay. Shane, do you have anything you would like to add?
Just that Colleen worked on this 2020 annual report for our 239 reviews. You should have seen it in your email. It just kind of, as we normally do, just showing you how many reviews we did in the year, how many of certain applications, where they came from, all that good information. So you can read it over. No need to take too much time here, but you can see it was pretty customary of where they came from, how many there were, where they got reviewed by, all that stuff. A little low on DOT this year, but I think that's just reflecting where the locations were compared to anything. So that's all I got on that.
Colleen, do you have anything to add?
Nope,
Rena?
she's not here today.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that is it. Meeting adjourned, 2:39.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on trying pulling up those applications, so.
Quick request, any chance we can make that like a meeting calendar invite for the future Zooms?
Yes,
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I think we did, actually. We sent it out, I thought, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe I didn't
All
open
right.
it. correctly.
We'll do it again.
No worries, I can always add it.
All right, let me pull up those reviews. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
Oh. Mrs. Barnes.
Okay, I think probably 3 months ago, we did a subdivision on County Route 33 for Jim and Brenda Barnes. This is a kind of continuation of it. They're selling another lot off it. It's kind of a messed up map. They're following some like natural parts of the land or whatever, and we didn't have any issues with it at the town level. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to zoom it, but I can't figure out how to do it on here.
Yeah, just a quick question. How much acreage?
I don't know right off the top of my head.
Hang on, working on it.
Looks to be 150.
Terrible.
So,
This laptop has limited capabilities, so.
There wasn't a lot of roadways attached to it, but just spread out beyond that.
looks to be 159 acres.
So one of them is 96.815, the other is 61.070.
Yeah, what they're reserving, and one to sell. Okay, all right.
It's difficult to see, but is the road access okay for both properties?
Road frontage is 340.79 feet, I think it says right here, Perry.
Okay, it's difficult to see on the screen.
Yeah, so this is what they're selling.
So they're selling this part.
And the one we did before is just like the piece of the corner of the map, the one that's not really visible.
Or the one of better safe than sorry.
That's right. So like I said, we had no issues on our level. So I have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? You're back from DOT on it?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Okay, good.
Oh, man.
Why do that?
Technical difficulties. Hang on.
Yeah. So this is, can anybody hear me okay?
Your mic's right there.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is, there's a good thing. All right. So this is Adam Evans. It's on Route 23 on the corner of going east of Norwich. The Wells Road, which is down in the bottom corner of the map, also joins the property. So he's selling the 7.41 acres, which includes the house and the barn. He's reserving the piece that's actually kind of uphill from that a little bit. And then attaching that to the parcel that he owns that you actually see all around there.
They can't see your finger.
I know. I was like, where to move them out.
Right here. Here's Wells Road.
Right at the Wells Road. So he owns up almost everything is C, other than that the barn in the upper left-hand corner. So yeah, he's got that strip will be merged with the rest of his land. Will be one tax parcel.
Consolidation survey?
Yeah. Correct.
Subdivision?
And we had no issues with it at the town level. Even though it's doesn't meet our front of depth, but it's okay.
Because that was going to be my question did you have a strip issue with,
We have a 3-to-1, and so it would not work at all on that property. And our policy is everything is individually reviewable. If there was 3 of those lots put together, then that would not be acceptable to us. But because it's just one piece, we didn't really have an issue with it. DOT had their normal comments. If you're going to do any work to put a driveway in, you have to follow their guidelines.
good.
Any further questions or discussion? Motion to approve? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah, that's it. So next month in February is our organizational meeting. So start thinking about who you want to be chair, vice chair of both committees, boards, whatever you want to call them. That's it. So our next meeting at the bottom of the agenda is February 17th.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Colleen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Take care, everybody.